The Ten of Cups typically means happy marriage or taking care of loved ones. But I invite us to go a little deeper and speak about taking care of all of humanity. And the rainbow points us to where we came from, why we are here. And nobody can tell us why we're here. I'm sorry, nobody can. But it's very useful to play around with different ideas that are empowering and consider that we are here as the human race to race, R-A-C-E, which stands for really appreciate this confusion exercise, or really accept this confusion exercise, or radically, radiantly accept this confusion exercise. Life is confusing. Anyone who claims to know or believes they must know what is going on in any particular moment is going to suffer. Yes, we choose certainty to avoid suffering. And when we feel certain, especially on a biological level, I'm certain I need food now. I'm certain this pain must be avoided. It has a purpose. But when it gets extrapolated into the realm of human affairs, I'm certain how things should be. I'm certain that I'm good. I'm certain that I'm bad. I'm certain that things should go a certain way. I'm certain things should not have gone a certain way. And this relates to the twin flame, soulmate concept. I'm certain this person is for me. I'm certain they should be with me. Any kind of certainty or any kind of rejection of uncertainty, any aversion to uncertainty, is linked to suffering. And therefore, I can only conclude we are here to really accept, to radically accept, to radiantly accept this confusion exercise, maybe even appreciate it.
Let us consider there are two types of people, those who are confused and those who are not confused. And in that group of confused people, there are two groups, those who accept confusion and those who reject confusion, feel they should not be confused. That subgroup, the people who accept confusion, they are seeing life as an opportunity to radiantly accept the confusion exercises. The mind does not like to be confused. The mind says it knows or says it needs to know. It does not allow ambiguity or confusion. Thus, it does not allow mystery. And something rather insidious, I think, is happening with this twin flame phenomenon, which is that spirituality, which is all about embracing mystery, embrace the unknown, accepting that we do not know, and not imposing some mind-based, ego-based, conceptually based framework on top of life. It's addicted people to the belief that they know they have a soulmate. They may even know they have a soulmate. They may know that there's only one soulmate for them, and thus they are fixated. And it doesn't have to just be around relationship. It could be around job. It could be around some product you've purchased. It could be around something you've chosen to do, some career. And so consider that the spiritual path, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, is to radiantly accept this confusion exercise, rather than claiming that we don't have confusion or claiming that we must get rid of confusion. Because confusion, uncertainty, ambiguity is the same thing as mystery. It's just another word for mystery, the unknown. And so the mind doesn't want that, and so it attaches to certainty. Something you're confused about, or something that you're sure will make you happy. Like a soulmate, like a twin flame. But it could be many things. I'm sure I'll be happy if. I'm sure I'll be happy when. That is a sure sign that you are forgetting to radiantly accept the confusion exercise. Consider that we're down here on earth to be confused and to accept that confusion. How do I know that? Well, because we are confused, because we don't know what we're here for. We don't know anything about what exists beyond the realm of space and time, and there are people who claim to be talking to God or claim to be one with God, and maybe there have been occasional, every 1,000 years, somebody like that. But I believe for the most part, these are people who cannot tolerate our ambiguity, or they're using our fear of ambiguity, our fear of mystery, our fear of the unknown as a way to gain popularity and money. And it works great because the mind doesn't want to be confused, right? It's associated, rightly or wrongly, it's associated certainty with safety. If I'm sure that I'm hungry, if I'm sure I know how to get food, if I'm sure that that is a person I should have a child with, then the fundamental biological impulse is satisfied. Okay, we're going to keep this body alive and we're going to perpetuate the DNA. And so operating on that level, we feel safe. We feel loved because we have the certainty. And thus, if we don't have the certainty, we feel like we must remove that uncertainty. We must buy into some ideology or physical form or image of ourselves, as positive or negative as being true, right? It could also be a negative image of yourself or someone or some ideology. It's wrong. I must rally against it. And I've admitted already that for me, this whole thing about twin flames is something I feel an urge to rally against. And I've resisted the urge. For the most part, yes, I do have my words, but I haven't done anything about it because everyone has their own karma. And everyone is in this confusion exercise. And the suffering that comes from not radiantly accepting it is part of the system. And maybe I'm supposed to intercede, maybe I'm not, I'm not sure, but I think that urge to intercede has to come, if it is acted upon, has to come from a pure place of also being radiantly accepting confusion about whether you should or not, right? Because if you're sure, if you have that cause, that crusade, that campaign, that concept that you are 100% behind and you are certain of it, well, then you've forgotten race to radiantly accept the confusion exercise. And it happens generation after generation, day after day, because it's programmed into our survival and reproductive instinct. What I'm speaking about is a kind of a supernatural, right? The natural is to not accept the confusion exercise, to not be radiant, to be dim, right? To be dim-witted, and that we think the only way to not be dim is to remove confusion. Then we're not dim. And look at us, everyone thinks we're great. We're so sure. And our mind's inner critic can be quieted. But true radiance, in my opinion at least, is to appreciate and accept that this is a confusion exercise. If you can't appreciate, just accept it. It's the only thing that makes sense. We're down here to be confused and accept that. Consider that everything in the universe has to be accepted, because the universe is made out of acceptance. Therefore, in order to accept uncertainty and confusion and mystery, there has to be something that is striving to be outside of confusion, uncertainty, and mystery and ambiguity. It has to be striving to be outside and believe it's outside of that, because that's the only way you can accept something. It's the only way you can appreciate something is to be out of it. If you're one with it, you're not accepting it, you are it. Appreciating, I don't know, maybe you could say if you're one with something, you're appreciating it. But there's a flavor of lower consciousness appreciation, a movement from lower consciousness to higher consciousness, that I think is only possible if we have an urge to reject ambiguity, confusion, uncertainty, and mystery, so that we can then reject that rejection. We can set aside that rejection. We have compassion for that rejection, right? But we decide that that rejection isn't going to bring us peace and rest. As long as we don't tolerate ambiguity, uncertainty, confusion, and mystery, I don't believe that we can find a state of acceptance and happiness, because I think that's why we're here.
Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om